Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Jai Sachinandana, Jaya Sachinandana, Jai Sachinandana. Jai Sachinandana, Gaura Hari, Jai Sachinandana. नदिया बिहारी गौर हरे नदिया मायापुर चंद्र गौर हरे मायापुर सची माता प्राण धन गौर हरे सची माता प्राण धन विष्णु प्रिया प्राण धन गौर हरे विष्णु प्रिया कलियुग अवतारे गौर हरे कलियुग कलिमलहारी गौर हरे कलिमलहारी नेतायेरा प्राणधना गौर हरे नेतायेरा प्राणधन पतिता पावन गौर हरे पतिता गौर 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 हरे गौर गौर जय सच्चिदानंद गौर हरे जय सच्चिदानंद हरे जय गौर हरे गौर हरे गौर हरे जय गौर हरे गौर हरे जय नित्यानंद राम नित्यानंद राम नित्यानंद राम जय नित्यानंद राम नित्यानंद राम जय निमाय निताय निमाय निताय निमाय निताय जय निमाय निताय जय निमाय निताय जय गौरनिताय 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 जय गौरनिताय गौरनिताय जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय निताय गौर हरिबाल 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 निताय गौर हरिबाल निताय गौर निताय गौर हरिबाल निताय गौर हरिबाल निताय गौर हरिबाल। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमती डिवाइन ग्रेस अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी शिल प्रभुपाद की इस्कॉन फाउंडर आचार्य बीबीटी फाउंडर आचार्य सेवियर ऑफ द होल वर्ल्ड शिल प्रभुपाद की जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी ठाकुर शिल प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की नामाचार्य शिल हरिदास ठाकुर की प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपिका श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरिराज गोवर्धन की ब्रजभूमि श्री वृंदावन धाम की मथुरापुरी धाम की पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की श्री नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की गंगा मैया की यमुना मैया की भक्ति देवी की श्रीमती तुलसी महारानी की समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्र मैया की श्री श्री गौर निताय की ग्रंथराज श्री चैतन्य चरितामृत की श्रील कृष्णदास कविराज गोस्वामी की निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजाता सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. Welcome to our morning discussion on Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, 10th chapter, the Lord's return to Jagannath Puri. We discussed how after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu returned to Jagannath Puri, first one who visited there was Paramanand Puri. How Lord received him very lovingly, offered him a place so that he could stay there, also a servant. We discussed about loving relationships amongst devotees, how to take care of senior devotees. And then next person who came there, second one, was Swarup Damodar Goswami. Some details about him were covered yesterday. How he was earlier Purushottam Acharya. When Mahaprabhu took sannyas, he went mad and left for Varanasi. There he himself took sannyas, but did not take sannyas name, only accepted Swarup name. His guru's name was Chaitanyananda Bharati. And then afterwards, he comes here. Some more details about him. He was very renounced and also very scholarly. His body, his mind had taken shelter of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Sri Krishna. निश्चिंते कृष्ण भजिब ययित कारणे उन्मादे करिले तेह संन्यास ग्रहणे. He was very enthusiastic to worship Sri Krishna without disturbance, and therefore almost in madness he accepted the sannyas order. So sannyas order is very important, though in Kali Yuga 5 things are forbidden: Ashwamedham, Gavalambam, Sannyasam Pailapaitrukam, Devarena Sutotpattim, Kalo Pancha Vivarjayet. Kalo in Kali Yuga, Pancha, 5 things Vivarjayet are forbidden. First is Gavalambam, Ashwamedham. Ashwamedh Yagya would be done by Kshatriyas mainly. They would release a horse, and the horse goes freely. In each and every kingdom he will go, that horse, and horse will be accepted by all the other kings. That means they accept the subordination to that big king, who would be eventually the emperor. And if anybody catches that horse, that means he's challenging the king. Then there would be fight, whosoever wins, then it decides. and then ultimately that horse would be sacrificed. He would be killed. It would be old horse, would be killed and put in the yagya. Because the Brahmanas were very powerful with the Vedic mantras chanted, the soul of that horse would come back in young body, horse body, and sometimes he would come in human body also. So that way he is elevated, he is not killed. That way the Brahmanas are chanting proper mantras is proved. Brahmanas would do Gavamlambam, that means Gomeda Yagya. When Brahmanas would do sacrifice, they will sacrifice a cow, old cow again. And when the cow is killed, cut, and the flesh and bones, everything is added in that Yagyashala, then that soul was there in the cow's body would come back in renewed body, in young cow's body, sometimes human body. That way also the Brahmanas chanting mantras is proper, appropriate, is proved. So Ashwamedham Gavalambam Sannyasam. Sannyas is the third thing which is forbidden in Kali Yuga. One should not take sannyas because the age is very dangerous age, where so many allurements are there, so many temptations are there. Everywhere Maya is very prominent. So one will not be able to continue with his vows of sannyas. So that's why sannyas is also forbidden. But in ISKCON and in Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya as well as Sri Sampradaya and these four Sampradayas, we find there is sannyas order. Sannyas had been taken by different personalities. This shloka, what we are discussing, was told by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mainly to devotees. And he himself took sannyas. So how is it that? How is that so? Because just giving up the activities and going to forest and becoming a wandering mendicant or sannyasi, renunciate, is not possible to continue because there will be so many temptations. So what we do is not just karma sannyas, what the other sannyasis do, giving up the activities and just trying to be an impersonalist kind of sannyasi, then it becomes big difficulty. We find Saubari Muni, or before that Durvasa Muni, he was a sannyasi, but he was an impersonalist. So he had a lot of difficulties in that way. He would offend Vaishnavas, as we find in the case of Ambrish Maharaj. So that kind of sannyas is not recommended. But we engage in activities related to Krishna. All the senses are engaged in service of the Lord. Externally, sannyas need not be taken in such cases. But one, if he feels the need, one who had been a brahmachari, or he had been a grahastha till the age of 50, he had been maybe vanaprastha for some time. If he wishes, he may take sannyas to propagate the mission, to go from town to town, village to village, and spread Krishna consciousness. That's why sannyas is recommended for such people. They have to engage all their body, mind, and words in the service of the Lord fully. That's why we give Tridanda sannyas in our sampradaya. And this was started earlier. Mayavadis, they give Ekadanda sannyas. Ekadanda sannyas means Danda Grahana Matrena Nara Narayana Bhavet. That is their concept. Just by accepting Danda, you have taken sannyas. Nara, the human being, Narayana Bhavet. He has become Narayan. That's why they address each other as Narayan. Any sannyasi comes, so other people as well as sannyasi will say, no, Namo Narayanaya. My dear Narayan, please accept my obeisances. And he will also say, because he's also sannyasi, Namo Narayana. All are Narayan. So Prabhupada would very heavily condemn this. Just by accepting Danda, the sannyas staff, one doesn't become Narayan at all. Narayan is different. But we give Tridanda sannyas in which there are three sticks. If we have seen our sannyasis, they carry that danda in their hand. It is wrapped with saffron cloth, but inside there are three sticks. They represent body, mind, and words. That means this person's life is fully dedicated in the service of Hari Guru Vaishnavas with his body, mind, and words. Also, there is Jiva Danda at the top. You'll find a small thing. So that means the living entity is fully offered at the lotus feet of the Lord with body, mind, and words. So sannyas is forbidden in Kali Yuga, but that sannyas is that karma sannyas, in which the karma is given up and the mind is difficult to focus on the Lord. So that kind of sannyas we don't offer, in which this sannyas is recommended. And anyway, in ISKCON, there is so much of scrutiny. There's a long procedure. Once one's name is registered in the sannyas ministry, it will take minimum 4 or 5 years, maybe more than that also. for one to be actually awarded sannyas, because so many cases in the past have not been able to continue their sannyas. There is one book written also by one of the sannyasis in ISKCON who has done PhD from outside. That means he has got properly university certificate, that is PhD holder. So he has done PhD on sannyasis only. Several sannyasis in ISKCON he interviewed who could not continue their vows. And there are names which we might not have heard in whole so many several years. No? Santosh Swami, Gautam Swami, uh, which Swamis are these? These are ISKCON Swamis. They were in ISKCON, but they could not continue their vows. So their interviews were taken, each one of them, by this sannyasi who did PhD in this. And he asked them, what were the difficulties that you faced? You could not, you gave up sannyas. So then they tell different reasons why, like I was quite young and I was given sannyas. And then when so many people were bowing down to me, like pride developed. I could not take it up. Very genuinely, they have told all the reasons, and those reasons are very important for others to know that these all dangers are there. One should not think that this obeisance is offered to me. In fact, Prabhupada says obeisances must be offered by a Vaishnava to others, and what to speak of to sannyasis. But the obeisances are offered to Paramatma within the heart. His Holiness Gaur Govind Swami Maharaj says obeisances are never to the body. Obeisances are to the Paramatma in that body. So one should know this is for Paramatma. This is not for me. And a genuine sannyasi or devotee will immediately transfer that obeisances to superiors, to parampara. Just like brahmacharis are given donation by grihasthas or many outsiders. So they should not think, oh, this is my pocket money. Generally, I get 1 2,000 every month. So this time, this grihastha has given 10,000. Very good. I think I should purchase a smartphone or something like that. That is dangerous. He will go to hell. He cannot use like that. He has to know this is given to you. You are like a moving temple. The grihastha cannot go to temple. You have visited his house. So for him to go to temple, put it in the hundi box is difficult because he's in his house. So you have been moving temple, have gone to his house. So he's giving to you. That means you will go and put it in the donation box in the accounts office. You are just a representative, just like a representative, what you call that, ambassador goes of the country. He's going on behalf of the country, on behalf of the prime minister of the country. Not that he himself think now all respect is for me, not for you. It is for the country. Similarly, that should be very clear. Otherwise, one will. That's what gets into the head, and people become proud, and then they cannot maintain their vows. In fact, sannyas means to be able to give up false ego. One who has given up false ego, he is really a sannyasi. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu talks to Raghunath Das Goswami. When Raghunath Das Goswami surrenders his life, yesterday we discussed, and he was put under the care of Swarup Damodar Goswami. So after some time, he had some question to ask to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Swarup Damodar is the one who takes him to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, saying that Raghunath Das has some questions. Could you please answer them? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's first instruction that you are under Swarup Damodar. He is so scholarly. He knows everything. He knows much more than me. So you could have asked him only. That means there was no need to come to me. But because you have asked me, I will answer. And then that's where he says, Gramya Vartana Shunibe, Gramya Kathana Koibe. Don't hear village talks. That means Prajalpa, unnecessary material subject matters. Don't hear, don't talk, don't wear opulent clothes, don't eat opulent food. And in the mind, always worship Radha and Krishna. And towards the end, he says, Trunadapi Shunichena, Tarorapi Sahishtuna, Amanina Manadena, Kirtanya Sadahari. That means give up false ego. A sannyasi cannot have false ego. If he has, he will have difficulties in his life. So sannyasi is the third thing which is forbidden. And fourth is Paila Paitrukam, offering Pindadan to what you call forefathers. But in that meat is generally offered. So meat should not be offered. We offer bhoga to the Lord Vishnu, Krishna. And when prasad is there, then that prasad is offered to the forefathers. And it benefits them wherever they are. And fifth is Devarena Sutotpattim, making our Devar means the what you call brother-in-law. If a particular lady of the man's wife is not able to produce a child through that man is not able to produce, he may request his brother, could you please impregnate her? So one may say, well, how is this so? This is not any kind of wrong behavior in those days where everybody was very pure hearted, very pure minds they had. So a woman is compared to a field. So sometimes one may not be able to cultivate the field. He may tell somebody else, could you please cultivate? But the crops come, they belong to the owner who told his other person that could you please do that. Not that he says that this is mine. So similarly, this person will tell his brother, you please impregnate my wife, and the child will be his wife, his child, not the one who impregnates the brother's son. So this was the concept. This had been used in the earlier ages because people were very pure, so they would do it. But now it is not possible because people have contamination, their contaminated minds, so they are not allowed to. This is not allowed in Kali Yuga. So Devarena Sutotpattim, Sutta Utpatti, producing a child, Devarena, through Devar, through brother-in-law, that is not allowed in Kali Yuga. So five things are forbidden. So these are the discussions here. Nichinte Krishna bhajepe eita karane, unmade karile teha sannyasa grahane. He was very enthusiastic to worship Sri Krishna without disturbance, and therefore, almost in madness, he accepted the sannyas order. So, if one wants uninterrupted devotional service, he may take sannyas because then there is no other thought, no other materialistic thoughts, no material life, zero. Sannyas means dead. He is walking corpse. Sannyasi is walking corpse. How is it? What do you call? Chalta murda. Hmm. Yes, he has absolutely no interest in anything material. His thinking, feeling, willing, everything is focused on Krishna. Hari Guru Vaishnava, their service, their pleasure. That kind of undivided focus one who has, such a person should take sannyas, or if he has taken sannyas little before, this should be the goal. That I just want to be mad for Krishna. So such a person should take sannyas, and also obviously he should preach. He should spread Krishna consciousness because he's not restricted to one place. He just travels. Generally, they stay one place for 3 days. That is the Vedic custom. A sannyasi stays max 3 days in a place, and then he goes to the next place, next place. Everywhere he spreads Krishna consciousness. People can get to know about Krishna. They can become initiated by him if he's guru, and that is very nice. So he was very enthusiastic to worship Sri Krishna without disturbance. That's why he took sannyas. So that's why nowadays, earlier in ISKCON, sannyas would be offered quite in young age because Prabhupada had to do that. He knew these people, many of these youngsters are quite young and coming from Western culture, they're quite passionate. So passionate person will not be able to continue sannyas, mostly materially speaking. But if he takes the vows very nicely and if he follows, he can come to the goodness and eventually pure goodness also. So there was quite a good amount of risk. But Prabhupada had to take because only some time was left with Prabhupada. He was quite old. Anytime he might leave the body. So he alone cannot propagate. He requires a lot of devotees' help. And sannyasis are the best because they can go place to place. In fact, some of the grahasthas also were like sannyasis, just like the three couples who went to London. They more or less were like sannyasis only. They were part of America, but then they went to Europe, London, and they preached so nicely. Prabhupada said, my grahasthas, these three couples, they are better than even sannyasis because they could do so much of preaching in London, which even Bhaktivinoda Thakur's other disciples, Prabhupada's god brothers, though personally Bhaktivinoda Thakur had gone to Mumbai airport to send them off, and they stayed there for some months, tried their best, but could not be successful. Then one lady became some devotee, something like that. Otherwise, Lord Jetland, he approached one of them saying, could you make me a Brahman? And they said, yes, why not? You just have to follow four regulative principles. No meat eating, no gambling, no illicit sex, no intoxication, and you can be a Brahman. He said, impossible. जीना तो क्या जीना इन चार चीजों के बिना. Life is impossible without meat eating, gambling, illicit sex, and intoxication. So he was the most what you call gentle person in the whole of those British people there, and he says this is impossible. So forget about others. So they could not do, but Prabhupada's three couples, six disciples, they could do very well. So sannyas is for those who want uninterrupted devotional service. There's absolutely no other thought, fully focused. If that is very high level of devotional service. So that's what Swarup Damodar Goswami wanted. That's what he's saying. He was very enthusiastic to worship Sri Krishna without disturbance. Nichinte Krishna bhajibe. Nichinta. Chinta. Without chinta. Nichinta. Without any chinta. Like we can see, so many chintas are there for Grahastha. Oh, my wife, my children, my family, then my social life, then my job, my business, some financial requirements, and then so many other things. So many things. Very difficult to be without chinta, without anxiety. If somebody is very elevated, different. Then like Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Manasa Deho Geho Choki Chumo Arpilu Duapade Nanda Kishore. To sing my mind, my body, my house, oh Lord, everything is yours. I offer at your lotus feet. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur had wife, he had around 13 children, he had a big job with British government. He was very sophisticated, according to many grahasthas cannot make it to where Bhaktivinoda Thakur was at, but he was a pure devotee. He is Kamal Manjari in Golok Vrindavan Dham, and he offered everything at the lotus feet of the Lord. He was never having anxiety. What about 13 children? My God, how to get them married? Some of them must be daughters. Huh? How to? He was never in anxiety. So that kind of very elevated grahasthas we have in the bygone ages, like in Maharashtra we had Santa Tukaram, such a pure devotee sent by the Lord in this world. So he was a grahastha, married man. But then when daughter earlier they would be married before they would reach puberty, something like 12 years. So then wife said, "Come on, she is reaching puberty. You get her married. What is this? You are just sitting. You must get her married." So Tukaram Maharaj is thinking, married, whom to marry? So then he just went outside and then he found some children were playing there, some boys. So then he went to one of their father only, one of the boys' father, and they were very happy to get daughter of Tukaram Maharaj as their daughter-in-law. And then marriage was done. It was not difficult. Similarly, Narsi Mehta from Gujarat, yesterday we were discussing there. So Narsi Mehta was, his daughter's marriage was fixed, but then there was no arrangements made. Like marriage means we all know how many things are there. India, not the court marriage, which requires hardly anything, but we are talking about proper marriage, Vedic marriage. So many things, so much of shopping, so many arrangement, invitations, and so many things. So that nothing was being done by Narsi Mehta. Wife said, "What is this? You are sitting. Marriage is just after a week or something. So go and do something. You are the only one who could do." So he was saying, "How? What will I do? I'm insignificant." So he went out and he was walking. He was thinking also, what could be done? He was not getting any idea. So on the way, after long distance, then he found there was a temple and some Bhagavad Katha was going on. He thought, Bhagavad Katha, Krishna Katha. He sat down there and the speaker was speaking 7 days Katha. So he sat through for all 7 days. And he was ecstatic. After Katha was over, everybody dispersed. Then he understood, hey, my daughter's marriage, the date is over. I was out here for arrangements, and the marriage is date is over. God knows what happened, whether marriage was broken because no man, or it might have been with hardly any arrangements. So he was concerned. So he started coming back. As he came close to house, many relatives were going, and they said, "What a marriage! Amazing, Narsi Mehta! Congratulations! Amazing! We have not seen marriage like this, especially Kanyadan. Wow, what Kanyadan it was! We have not seen Kanyadan like this." Say, marriage. Very nice. Okay. So he came inside the house, wife was there and said, "Amazing, thank you. What arrangements? You know, it was overwhelming." So Kanyadan was so special. So many things you gave in dowry. I could not imagine in my life that you could offer so many things to our daughter. And Narasimhan, Hari Bol. So what had happened? Krishna personally came in the form of Narsi Mehta, and he sat in the marriage and he gave the daughter of Narsi Mehta in Kanyadan. And when Krishna marries his daughter, what will be the opulence? First class arrangements were made. So this kind of grahasthas, they are pure devotees. And below that, were a very advanced devotees, grahasthas, who could be just saying like this, could have bhav like this. My everything I offer at your lotus feet only. And just like Prabhupada's father also, Gaur Mohan Dey. When Prabhupada was a small child and Prabhupada developed some fever, some disease, the doctor then said he needs to be fed chicken soup. Gaur Mohan Dey said, nothing doing. We are Vaishnavas. We don't eat meat and all that. But then the doctor said, but that is the medicine for him. That is not some meat for the child. That is medicine. How can you deny medicine? He may die otherwise. Gaur Mohan Dey said, nothing doing. No question of this. We are Vaishnavas. We worship Krishna. Whatever. Then wife had heard the Rajani, mother Rajani. She said, how can you say like that? Our child's life, is very important. He will die otherwise. So Gormont Day was not accepting only. Then the doctor said, don't worry, I will cook it in my house and I will personally get it and feed to him. And that also Gormont Day was not very happy. But Rajni and other relatives said, no, Gormohan, you cannot say like that. So then he was helpless. And ultimately that soup was fed to Abhay Charan. And as soon as it was put in his mouth, he just vomited, just spat it out all. And immediately, earlier he was reluctant only, no, he was not accepting, but somehow forcefully it was fed. And immediately Abhay Charan spat it out. And that was too much for Gormonde, who was watching all this, said nothing doing. I cannot see my son getting tortured like this. So he picked up Abhay Charan and kept in front of the home deities, Govindji, and took the tulsi from the lotus feet of Lord Krishna and put in his mouth, his head, and said, I offer my child to you, O Lord. You decide what is his future, whether he has to die or he could survive and proceed ahead. But Krishna's grace and Prabhupada survived through all that without any medicine. The Gormon Day was very exalted devotee. Prabhupada says, my father was pure devotee. Krishna book offered to Gaur Mohan Day. Offer this book to Gaur Mohan Day, my father, who was a pure devotee of Lord Krishna. Very exalted. Now, always, at least there would be 4 sadhus in the house every day. See, this is Grahastha standard, inviting sadhus to home. And in Gaur Mohan Day's house, every day 4 sadhus. Though those sadhus were not of high quality. Some of them were smoking BD, something like that. They were not, some of them like that. But then he was very innocent, very simple. He knew I am a Grahastha, I have to do my duty, I have to invite sadhus and I should feed them. And after they would be fed Krishna Prasadam, they would wash hand, they would sit. That time Gaur they would request, this is my son Abhay Charan. Please bless him that he becomes a pure devotee of Srimati Radharani. How exalted. Unfortunately, if we are not hearing regularly, then there is no wonder that even Grahasthas in ISKCON, they may feel that my son should become some doctor, some engineer, he should go to US, MS in US, and this kind of thing. So that should not be the goal, to send my son to America. So that is not exalted Grahastha. The exalted Grahastha is my son should become a pure devotee of the Lord. गुरोर्न सस्यात् पिता न सस्यात् गुरोर्न सस्यात् स्वजनो न सस्यात् पिता न सस्यात् जननी न सस्यात् दैवं न तस्यात् न पतिश्च सस्यात् न मोचयेत् यदि समुपेत मृत्युम. One is not guru, one is not a relative of a person, one is not father, one is not mother, one is not pati, or one is not a demigod unless he is able to deliver the dependents from the cycle of birth and death. So the ideal father and mother are one, those who decide they want that we want son who will be pure devotee of the Lord. Our daughter should be a pure devotee of the Lord. Not that he should do MS in US and he should earn lot of money. So unfortunately, because we don't attend regularly Bhagavatam class, Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Every day Bhagavatam should be heard. If not coming to temple, at least in the house, husband, wife, children, whosoever are there, relative neighbors can be called from neighborhood and they should discuss. Prabhupada's words are so clear. Prabhupada never says that Grahastha should desire that our son, daughter, they go to MS, US. Prabhupada smashes, attacks materialistic civilization so heavily. Just like that MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and Prabhupada is shown different departments there. This is biology, this is chemistry department, this is zoology, this is microbiology, this is mathematics, this, that. So many departments, hundreds of them. And MIT is very huge complex. And Prabhupada is shown. And Prabhupada is saying, where is the department which distinguishes living from the dead? Living body from the dead body? Mr. Swamiji, we don't have a department like that. Prabhupada says, what is the use? It's all useless. All this biology, all that is all useless. So Prabhupada, you can see, he's there. Can you imagine being in some big institute and giving a slap on everyone's cheeks, saying this is all useless, waste of time, money, energy. This is Prabhupada, pure devotee. He sees the hollowness, the emptiness of all materialistic civilization. It's not having a foundation at all. Only Krishna consciousness is the foundation. Faith in Krishna, service to Krishna, pleasure of Krishna. That is the foundation of each and every activity. That is spiritual civilization. But nowhere that kind of, in materialistic civilization, that is not the goal. Prabhupada would slap like anything. In fact, I was recently hearing so many devotees said that why in the fifth canto, Shukdev Goswami is speaking about the universal structure. In the beginning, 3 chapters, there is story about Priyavrat, and then eventually Nabhi, then Bharat Maharaj, all that Rushabdev, Bharat Maharaj. It goes up to 15, 16 chapter. But then afterwards, half of the fifth canto, 16th chapter onwards, then the universal structure begins. And then everything is told. Where is Atal, Vital, Sutal, Talatal, Bhurlok, Bhuarlok, and Jambudvip. So many dweeps, Kronchadvip, Lakshadvip, etc. And so many things are there. The distances of the planets from different other planets, etc. So this is purposefully done by Shukdev Goswami because sixth canto is about holy name. So if one has to chant holy name very properly, he should know that this is how the structure is. That means his belief in the scientist will be removed. The scientists say that sun is closer to earth than moon. Our moon is closer to earth. Prabhupada said, no, sun is, the moon is a heavenly planet. It is far away. It's very far and one cannot just go there. And so much Prabhupada discusses that there in the purports as well as in his lectures. He would very soon start speaking about this. Why? Because he would test his disciples. Are you having faith in scientists or in Srimad Bhagavatam, in the words of Shukdev Goswami? Many people had objection. They left, especially moon landing. They are showing how the man is landing on the moon. They are putting their American flag or whatever. And Prabhupada said, this is just not possible. They must have gone to Sahara Desert or some other thing. And what they are seeing that man is landing on the moon. Prabhupada said, no, that's not possible. So purposefully, Prabhupada would see that whether you have faith in the words of Srimad Bhagavatam or not, you have to have faith. Otherwise, you cannot chant holy name properly. So all the faith in material civilization has to be removed. And Prabhupada did it so wonderfully. And he continues to do that through his Bhaktivedanta purports. If we take shelter of them, we'll have absolutely no attraction, no faith in materialistic civilization. We will be there, but we will not be into it. Our heart will not be into it. We will not be grounded in that. Will not have footing in that. Our heart will be always at the lotus feet of Hari Guru Vaishnavas in Golok Vrindavan. Krishna says, Brahmani adhaya karmani sangam tyaktva karoti yah lipyate na sa papena padmapatra ivam bhasaha. Brahmani adhaya karmani. One should performance activities by taking shelter of Supreme Brahman. Sangam tyaktva karoti yah. And one should give up the materialistic association. Lipyate na sa papena. Such a person will not be covered by papa. So one should not have any attachment to material civilization. Then only one can be free from papa. And how example he gives Padma Patra Ivambasa. Just like a lotus leaf, it grows in mud, but it is untouched by it. You can see the top surface, how pure it is. Very nice, very beautiful. Many times they show also the pictures of just leaf of lotus flower, very beautiful. Because though it is in the mud, so it is in the mud, but untouched by the dirt of the mud. Clean it is. So like that one has to conduct in material life, in material civilization. So that person is a proper grahastha. So grahastha should desire that my children become pure devotees of the Lord. This should be their last life. And what is the guarantee by going to US it would be last life? Might be that they will give up devotional service only. I'm not saying that they should not be sent, but one should know for sure the danger is that they should go to association of devotees. That is very important. Sometimes I go to some people, though those are not devotees, they're like well wishers of ISKCON and all that. And then that Mataji I have come across sometimes. So then while talking, they are new to me and I'm new to them. The Mataji comes to know, oh, this fellow is engineer. This sadhu is engineer. So immediately as she comes to know, immediately, Prabhuji, please tell my son, he's not studying properly. You please tell him how to study very nicely, and then he can also be engineer. I said, Arey, I kicked out all that engineering for so many years. Somehow I was there, and that time I made devotees, and devotees said that you have to complete engineering, get degree. It will be helpful for preaching. And then as soon as I got degree, I just kicked out all that engineering. And here is this Mataji and saying, please guide my son how to be engineer, how he should study daily and all that. So anyway, they are well wishers of ISKCON. They give some donation. They are not chanting 16 rounds, etc. But those who are chanting 16 rounds, those who are initiated, Grahasthas, Prabhuji and Mataji, they should be very clear. Not that our son, our daughter, they should be in Boston, Houston, or wherever. No, they should be at the lotus feet of Hari Guru Vaishnavas, serving. That should be their goal. So these are the reformations required in ISKCON at the current stage. Then it will go very nicely. Anyway, a lot of things can be discussed. But here he says he was very enthusiastic to worship Sri Krishna without disturbance. And therefore, almost in madness, he accepted the sannyas order. So that madness should be there. That I want Krishna, I want Krishna. Krishna want. Govinda Virahena me. Everything is useless without Krishna. Krishna Rati Vina Jivan To Miche Hai. Now, without attachment to Krishna, life is useless. Jivan to miche hai. It's all useless. So I want to be attached to Krishna. That's all. All other attachments are useless in this world. They will lead to hell. They will lead to degradation. But attachment to Krishna is the saving grace. So that's what one desire. In fact, in 7th chapter of Bhagavata, in the first verse only, Krishna says, Maya Saktamana Partha Yogam Yunjanmadashrayah Asamshayam Samagram Mam Yatha Jnasasi Tachrunu. So he says, Tachrunu, just hear. What should you hear? That Maya Sakta Mana Partha. How your mind should be attached to me only. Maya Asakta. Maya Sakta Manaha Partha. Yogam Yunjan Madashre. Through yoga, how you should be connected to me and attached to me. That you just hear now. So that's why 7th chapter Arjun just can't speak. Because in the beginning only he is told, keep shut up, don't speak. Just hear. So it is possible for Grahasthas also to be completely attached to Krishna, provided they hear from sadhus, they hear from Srimad Bhagavatam. Then they will know the goals. Otherwise, we may be in the devotee garb, may be initiated, but then we'll have materialistic goal only because we stay in materialistic society physically. So that has a very strong influence. It is very nice loka, Padma Patra Ivam Basa, being in mud but being very clean. But that is not so easy for any one of us. In fact, for brahmacharis also. Brahmacharis get so much influenced by materialistic civilization. They want smartphone, big phone, and this and that. So many desires. Very difficult. Very difficult. So if brahmacharis face so many difficulties, grahasthas though they are staying outside of the temple only. For them, Bhagavatam class is not compulsory. Morning program, what they do, only God knows. Or maybe somebody else knows. Guru who is going all over the world, delivering so many souls, thinking that the earlier delivered souls must be following everything. Yeah, they may be chanting 16 rounds, but how they chant and all. Many times, even brahmachari sometimes will be tempted to see during chanting what is the message. Some WhatsApp message might have come, some SMS. Something is very urgent. But that is not good. So recently when His Grace Gaurang Prabhu came, he was telling that very soon maybe ISKCON, there will be 5 rules, regulatory principles: no meditating, no gambling, no illicit sex, no intoxication, and during chanting that I will not operate my mobile. Hmm. The 5th rule, like that. And there is one guru in ISKCON, his holiness Bhakti Dhir Damodar Swami Maharaj. So his disciples during vow, initiation vow, they have to tell, I will chant every day 16 rounds, I'll follow the 4 regulatory principles: no meditating, no gambling, no illicit sex and intoxication. And I will also not meddle with mobile during my chanting. And they say that, and I heard from one assistant who travels with Maharaj. So he said, and Maharaj says sometimes personally, and if you do that, if you meddle with your mobile during chanting, then I disown you as my disciple. You are not my disciple, even if you are initiated by me. And very heavily he says that. He travels all over the world. He must have seen how so many devotees while chanting, they keep doing, because they feel only right hand is engaged. Some engagement for our whole body, whole all limbs should be engaged. So there is so much of itching there, like that. So that should not be the way. The only those who are mad for being pure devotees of the Lord, they are the ones ideal personalities for taking sannyas. So Swarup Damodar Goswami was like that. He was very enthusiastic to worship Sri Krishna without disturbance, and therefore, almost in madness, he accepted the sannyas order. For grahasthas also, they are compared to sannyasis, though they may not take formal sannyas, accepting danda, saffron clothes, etc. That is told in 6.1, 6th chapter, first shloka, where Krishna says, Anashrita karma phalam karyam karma karoti yaha sa sannyasi cha yogi cha na niragnir na cha akriyah. So he says, Anashrita karma phalam, one who is not attached to the fruits of his action. So whatever activities are done, one should do because just sharir dharma. I'm in this world. I have to feed myself, my wife, and children, or whatever. So some source of income, some job, some business, something. And he is not mad for money, 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 money. Not like that. Just for sustenance, some money is required in this world. So he works and then he maintains his family. He is not thinking about economic development and things like that. And all the activities, he's not attached to the karma phal, the result. Many people have result only in the mind and they start new activity. Whereas a grahastha, he has activities, even in those activities he doesn't expect any respect, any result. Whatever Krishna sends, whatever comes of its own accord. Yadruchaya labha santushto dvandva tito vimutsaraha. Krishna says in 6th chapter, Yadruchaya labha santushto, whatever comes Yadruchaya, by its own accord. That means according to Daiva. Whatever material life, as far as material life goes, I will not endeavor too much. I'll just do my duty. For sustenance, money is required. For money, some work is required. Whatever, daily 5, 6, 7, 8 hours. That's what I will do. And whatever comes, I will manage with that. And in fact, before marriage, this is how he should tell the would-be wife. This is how I would be. This is how I am, and this is how I will be whole life. So are you okay? I nowadays so many grahasthas still, counselors still, sometimes in the classes also tell that our marriage bureaus and all, the girls say the husband has to be having 5-digit salary, and then he should have 3 BHK, he should have a car, he should so many, and they're all devote, what you call, girls, daughters of initiated father and mother. Sometimes they themselves are initiated also. And such girls, and the boys also may have their own liking. She should be fair, she should be like this, and all that. So much. So this is all contamination. This is because of not having taken shelter of scriptures, scriptural message, not having taken shelter of pure devotees, mainly Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada's purports, Bhaktivedanta purports, they are not being read. Then this is what we'll get carried away by. This aspiration. We'll have aspiration to flourish in material life. And that's why next birth is confirmed. Next material body is confirmed when we have material aspiration. So zero material aspirations. That should be our goal. My only aspiration is to serve Hari Guru Vaishnava. So that we have to head towards. And that is possible only by hearing regularly, by chanting in the midst of devotees. Svanashrita karma phalam karyam karma karoti. He does his activities because activities are must. Nahi kashya shanamapi jatu tishtati akarmakrit. One cannot remain even without a moment. One cannot remain without activity even for a moment. As we said yesterday, three ways we work through body, through words, and through mind. One of the three is always functioning. Even in the sleep night, sometimes we can see our dreams are going on. We are working with the mind. Mind is working through dreams. So that's why one should always be engaged, but engaged just for the physical sustenance, whatever is required. Lipyat, he says, what is that? Anashrita karma phalam karyam karma karotiya. Sa sannyasi cha yogi cha. He is a sannyasi, he is yogi also. Nacha niragnir, na niragnir, nacha akriyah. Not that one who lets no fire, or nacha akriyah, one who is inactive. That sannyas we already discussed earlier. Not that. He can be very active, but he is active without attachment to the fruits of his action. He does it because he's supposed to do it. Similar way, we should also do our services. My superior has told, I should do this service, so we should do. And this will please him, this will please Guru Maharaj, this will please Prabhupada, this will please all the acharyas in the parampara, this will please Krishna, my life will be success. Because when they are pleased, my service goes up, the blessings will come down, and I will be able to flourish in spiritual life. That should be only goal, that I want to make advancement in spiritual life. Not that I want to make advancement in material life, in material civilization. I should have more money, I should have bigger house, I should have better clothes, I should have better car. I'm only having Maruti Suzuki, Maruti car. When would I have Chevrolet or whatever bigger one, Mercedes? There are bigger cars now than Mercedes also. So once I sat in one Grahastha's, he was taking me for a program to his house. So I sat and I saw the car was quite posh. So I asked, Bro, how much is the cost of this car? He said 55. 55? So more than Mercedes. Those days, I think Mercedes was for 35 lakhs or what. So more than Mercedes, he said, yes, this is imported from UAE, Dubai or somewhere. Okay. And I was saying that in Pune streets, this is okay, huh? Car is from Dubai, but roads of Dubai are not there in Pune. And Pune roads are like, they'll purify that car. He said, nah, it's a high quality car. I said, okay, all glories to you and your car. Like that. So maybe okay is having that richness, but then it should be used for service of devotees. I have seen some grahasthas, they say, no, yes, हमने खरीदा है ये car, I have purchased only for taking devotees for different programs and all that. Sadhus means brahmacharis and all that. But then one somehow gets so much implicated in this world that sadhus remain aside. Only first time when the car is purchased, the sadhu is made to sit, and some 1, 2, 3, 4 kilometers. Afterwards, he doesn't have time to go to temple and pick up the sadhus from station or some place to other. So that should not be the goal. Will be gone. Better that earlier car, old one, but one is at least able to do some service to the sadhus. So one has to be very clear. Maya is very subtle. For those who are very successfully able to escape from Maya's clutches grossly, for them she works subtly, but she's always working. Mama Maya Duratya. So one has to be extremely careful. And that is possible only by hearing sadhus regularly, only hearing Bhagavatam regularly. Otherwise, these all things. That's why Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami in Chaitanya Charitamrita only, in Rupa Shiksha, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling to Rupa Goswami that how the anarthas come. They are like weeds. Kutinati, Nishiddhachar, Jiva Himsan, Puja Labha Pratishtadi, Yat Upashakha Gand. Nishiddhachar, forbidden activities like meat eating, gambling, illicit sex, intoxication. Prabhupada says that in the purport. Nishiddhachar, Kutinati, diplomatic behavior. Even in ISKCON, as sadhakas, initiated devotees, we may be very diplomatic. To this devotee, I want the work from him. So what to do? How to speak to him, or something I will give him so that I can get work done, or some ulterior motive I have, it could be fulfilled through this devotee. Kutinati, Jiva Himsan, and being violent to other living entities. And not to preach is the biggest violence. That's why we are recommended to always preach. Jare dekho tare kaho, Krishna Upadesh, Amaragya Guru Haya, Tarayai Desh. Everyone you come across, you should give them holy name, you should give them Krishna Katha, Prasad, etc. Puja Labha Pratishtadi, profit, adoration, distinction, Adi, etc. Mainly these three. Puja, we want people to worship us. Puja Labh, we want profit, material profit. When I give class, there should be profit. And sometimes the speakers, kathakars, say, okay, if I have to give class, how many people will be present there? There will be 10 to 15, bro. 10, 15. My scale is high. Minimum 50 should be there. So, so whether 15 eager people are there, that is more important, or 50 big, they are there for whatever reasons. So that puja, labh, pratishtha, prestige, these are all very dangerous things. Yata upashakhagan, these are the weeds which grow along with bhakti lata. In the garden of bhakti lata, where the bhakti lata, the creeper of devotion, is nicely progressing, in that these weeds grow. And many times the weeds appear like the creeper only, but then they suck all the nourishment, water, etc., that is meant for the creeper. Creeper starts drying up, and these weeds become very stout. So that's how fall down takes place over a period of time. These things go on, and others cannot understand. Others cannot understand. Only those who are senior to us, whose conscious is better than us, who are rooted in Bhaktivedanta purports, who are rooted in Krishna consciousness by taking firm shelter of the instructions of the spiritual master, they will be very clear about what is what. So they cannot be cheated. They will be catching our ear. So we need some sadhu who will catch our ear, not necessarily physically, but who will tell verbally that Prabhu, what is this you are after? This is not being a sadhu. This is not being a grahastha. What kind of grahastha are you? What kind of brahmachari are you? So we need some sadhu like that. If we don't have, then subtle deviation over a period of time will be a very big deviation. His Holiness Gopalakrishna Goswami Maharaj was telling once that if a plane starts from London for New York, if it begins only with 1 degree, change, what you call deflection, it is supposed to go here. New York is that side, but 1 degree here. So when it begins, it will altogether end in another place only, another country, could be in another continent also. So little from the beginning. So that's why, just like children also, you can see from the beginning only. That's why so much sanskara, so much garbhadan sanskar. The child has not come, but then after he comes also in the womb, so many things to be done. At every moment, they have to be given nice Krishna conscious samskara, so that they are groomed to a very nice Krishna conscious devotee. It's not so easy, but we need such sadhu. Many times grahasthas may be very concerned, my son, my daughter, he should be like this, like that. But what about you, Prabhu? What about you, Mataji? Are you up to standards of the spiritual master? Is he happy with you? Ah, he's happy. Whenever he comes, he smiles at me. Very rarely he comes, and he smiles because he doesn't know what you're doing. He knows, but he knows that you don't want him to know. So he gives smile, thinking that sometimes he will want me to correct him. So one has to be, one should want to be corrected. One should be eager that I want to follow properly. So some sadhu is there in our life, we are blessed. Sadhus are many, but have we accepted them? Yeah, I have a counselor, and that is only on paper. Because without counselor, I cannot get initiated. Without counselor, I cannot go for yatra. And so many privileges are not possible without counselor. So I have a counselor. So that is not a counselor. Mind is our counselor many times. So mind should not be counselor. We should have actual counselor whom we take shelter of, whom we take regularly help of. So then we will have madness for Krishna. And then some of the people who so wish could think of sannyas order also, because they have no other focus. They understand this is futile. All materialistic lifestyle, civilization, all futile, useless waste of time. My goal is Krishna Rati, attachment to Krishna and Krishna alone. Krishna Rati Vina Jivantamiche. So like that we can lead our life and achieve Krishna in this very life. That is Laulyam, Tatra Laulyam, as we were discussing yesterday. Intense greed, only Krishna for myself and those who are around me. Like that. Okay, any question? This is unlimited subject matter. Prabhupada keeps discussing in his purports.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for some very strong, determined inputs, which was very helpful for going ahead. wanted to inquire that this strong determination which we get, one is by our Pakka sadhana, chanting a morning program, and another is affection to another devotee whom we want to do something very nice, whom we are very inspired with. So, heard from His Grace Radha Shyam Prabhu that if we have that attachment to one devotee, then our spiritual standard is position is very strong. So, more than a question, like yeah, in which direction we should take decisions when things are not clear, we can ask the devotee also one thing. But as you are telling that our determination should be very strong, sometimes our sadhana may not be very strong, even though we know we should not sleep, we should be awake, we
No, you should
inadvertently
sleep in the night.
in
In the chanting, we should not sleep.
so but when we see that our the seniors, the devotees are requesting that go ahead in this direction, so we give that as a more priority, or through our sadhana we should depend more for progressing further.
Everything is sadhan only, because there are three types of bhakti: sadhan bhakti, bhav bhakti, and prema bhakti. So are we premi bhaktas? Some of you may be, no offense to anyone, but mostly not. Bhava bhaktas, no. So we are only sadhakas, sadhan bhakti. Sadhan bhakti has two type: Vaidhi sadhan bhakti and raganuga sadhan bhakti. So are we raganuga sadhan bhaktas? Mostly not. Devotional life has not become very spontaneous for us. So we are Vaidhi sadhakas. We are following vidhis. These are the do's, these are the don'ts. So when we are doing those which are to be done, and we are avoiding those things which are to be avoided, then you are doing sadhan all the time. Not that sadhan means reading, hearing, chanting. That is the most important part of sadhan. But otherwise, everything else. When I drink water, it is sadhan. When I go to pass water, that is sadhan. When I sleep for 6 hours in the night, that is sadhan. Everything I do, which is sanctioned, which is recommended by the scriptures, Hari Guru Vaishnava, that is sadhan bhakti only. So why should we differentiate? And if we control our tongue, then we are definitely able to do reading, hearing, chanting much better. So it requires controlling our own mind and senses, not that what services have been given by superiors, and we need to think, of adjustment. That is not required. We have to adjust our own mind and senses. Then things which we want to do, more reading, more hearing, more chanting, will be done, isn't it?
The seniors are expecting that okay, we do this extra service, but we think, oh, probably I'm still not qualified because my sadhana is weak now. uh, but affection is there, we want to please, and it is said that if we go in this direction, then we may get mercy because we are pleasing the seniors. Although apparently your sadhana is weak, you may not be qualified, but don't judge on that level. Judge because seniors are telling, they are having faith, we have reported that this is our condition, so go ahead in this direction, don't worry too much about
It
the
depends on the individual how you take it up, but why not try then? And also we cannot say that, let's say my sadhana, rather than you're talking, is 20% strong, so I am 20% qualified person. This is illusion. This is not the way to think for a sadhaka. By the mercy of Guru Parampara, spiritual master, Vaishnavas, I could do what happened. I am personally unqualified. Because tomorrow, if you have 90% good sadhan, then you will say that, I'm 90% qualified devotee. You will develop pride then. So you will disqualify yourself to qualify to that level. So that's why one should never think that this is how I am. No, we are always subjected to change. As much as we receive the message in Guru Parampara, that much we will go up in our consciousness, in spiritual progress. So one can make a move towards that direction. And if you feel that sadhana is weak, then why not make it strong? Find out what it takes to make it strong. Maybe sitting with some devotee who chants very nicely, or reading Prabhupada purports. Prabhupada said, I written this, all the Bhaktivinoda purports, to inspire all the people in the world to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So why not read Bhaktivedanta purports daily, 1 hour, 2 hours? I think yesterday I told His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj said, anybody who reads Srimad Bhagavad Gita daily for 1 hour, Maya cannot touch him. I told one devotee, I want the audio clipping. I want to play it in the lectures I give. So why not read Prabhupada books? Such great soul as Maharaj is telling. Maya cannot touch you if you read every day 1 hour Bhagavad Gita. And for reading, what we need to do? We just need to control our tongue. Why to just keep speaking, speaking, speaking? When we are not ourselves doing our job, isn't it? So one has to see one's level and accordingly then. If I have not done my homework, how can I be a teacher then to others? Better keep quiet. Isn't it? One has to control his mind and senses to be able to do those things which we are lacking, we are weak in, isn't it? Yes, bro. Here it is.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, my question is, you talked about having a sadhu who is there to correct you. Now, the question is, we are hearing from the spiritual master. So, does the words of the spiritual master and we are trying to apply that is enough, or we should have someone who is there, as a shiksha, whether that is compulsory? And secondly,
One at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, now Guru's words depends. If you're 100% having attachment to Guru's words, faith in him, and your whole focus is Guru Mukha Padma Vakya, Chitte te kori aikya, Arana kori ho mane Asha. If you're that kind of disciple, then fine. But then also, ours is not like alone we perform devotional service. We need devotees around us. Okay, we may not be taking guidance from them, which we may take from our spiritual master, but we need devotees around us. If I have to do Mangalati all alone in such a big hall, it will not be so nice if, on contrast to, when I have hundreds of devotees around. So that is very much required. And Prabhupada says that if one has no one to take guidance from, then one should directly consult one spiritual master. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, that purport only it is there, where we discussed about Kutinati, Nishiddhachar, etc. So that means what? That means apart from spiritual master, we also need to have some devotees who could guide us as per the guidelines given by Guru. But in case there is no one like that, then one should directly take guidance from spiritual master. That is Prabhupada telling in the purport only.
so thank you that answers. And the second question is like, for grihasthas, is it like we take guidance from, more than one, some senior devotee, like, maybe we take some, second opinion, no? Just like we take
Second?
opinions, no? Some maybe with doctors. Is that okay?
Yes, okay, provided you don't offend the devotee,
Mhm.
earlier devotee who gave you some guidance. So that is okay.
Mhm.
That's not a problem. Prabhupada also was in touch with his god brothers when he had to take sannyas because Bhaktivinoda Thakur came in dream and said, "You should take sannyas," like that. And Prabhupada was scared. He had his wife, children, and he says in his humility, he was not ready. So he consulted His Holiness Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Swami Maharaj that this is what. And Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj was little concerned because he knew the family members of Prabhupada, his wife, children, others, Ishima, etc. So he said that you better take guidance from some other god brother. So then Prabhupada went to Bhakti Rakshak, Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Maharaj. And Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Maharaj said, yes, you must take sannyas. This is very important. Guru Maharaj is coming and this is very important. You want to preach, and for preaching sannyas will be very helpful. So you must take sannyas. And Prabhupada says in his audio lecture that he spoke, practically my spiritual master spoke through him. And he forced me to take sannyas in one sense. But Prabhupada says my spiritual master did it through Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Maharaj. And he was the one who gave Prabhupada sannyas also. Which Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj, Prabhupada was close, but he thought, if I give sannyas, all the relatives, they will say, what, why you gave sannyas, something like that. So he could not do that. So we can do that. It's not like we have only one person, because Maya is very powerful. Sometimes he may get corrupt in the extreme like that. And even if he's not corrupt, but then some other things, so there is no problem in receiving things like that. In fact, when we receive instructions or some guidance like that from others, we could go back to our original one, the first one or the main one or the only one, saying that, this is what I heard and this is what I'm inspired to do. Is that okay? And he may say, it's fine, you may go ahead with it. That kind of maturity also which should be there with that person. If it is a correct guideline that you have got, he should be able to sanction. Not that, how can you go to somebody else and accept guidance from somebody else? I'm the only one for you, isn't it? It should not be that kind of egomaniac approach. He should say, yeah, okay, yeah, that's fine, because Prabhupada also says that is good in his purport, so you can go ahead, no problem. So that kind of is okay. And that way we are also receiving, just like a child is not just given birth or raised by only one mother, one father. Child is the child of entire society. Not that all throughout he eats only what mother cooks. No, he also may eat in the aunt's house, in mommy's house, kaki's house, and all that, and also some other relatives, some other marriages here and then, but under the guidance of parents. Parents are overall mainly, they are responsible for seeing the child's appropriate growth. But that doesn't mean that he's only their child. Not that we don't have, what you call that so-called nuclear families in which, the child is not allowed to mingle with anybody else. No, he's allowed. But parents are watchful. Whom is he mixing with? He should not get into wrong zone. Otherwise, it will not be good for him.
And finally, the for grihasthas, is it that they should have a senior grihastha to guide them, or senior brahmachari is also okay? Because
Both could be there. Brahmachari should just guide them spiritually, philosophically. But as far as practical life goes, what does brahmachari do? Like if you ask me about, how much you should earn monthly, I earn nothing monthly. I'll say monthly. No, you can earn. How much is your expenditure for cooking, etc.? So you may say, sir, 5-10,000. Yeah, so 5-10,000 monthly you may. So brahmachari will not have that. He cannot tell this kind of thing. So grahastha who is well situated, he should be able to tell. But he should also tell appropriately. Not that monthly you should earn 5 lakhs. Because you should have car and sadhus you can take. That kind of guidance is inappropriate guidance. Brahmachari should know his limitations also. Like sometimes some boys ask me, because they were preached by me when they were college students. So because they are married now, this is, bro, how much I should give to temple and all. So I tell them, see, scripturally it's like 50% one should go give, 50%, 25% for one's family maintenance, 25% for emergency in future, and 50% should be given for Krishna consciousness. But that Krishna consciousness also includes your Krishna consciousness, like purchasing your own dhoti kurta, tilak, and yatras. That is all included. Like that, I generally tell. And then afterwards, it's all left to you. I tell them, but this is like general description given by Rupa Goswami Path. It is left to every individual. I know I cannot just, because he's a different individual. He might have been under me in his early days, but now his lifestyle is different. He has wife, children, so many things. So he has to decide. If required, he can consult some grahasthas also. Only problem comes when the grahastha say, hey, no, don't give to temple, my God, you they will, you see, they have some reservations, you understand? So they are not like, so that is the only hitch, only problem. They have to be very noble also. They should also guide like this.
now we are getting so many guidance and on this thing. Should we also trust our own intuition, our own thoughts?
But that should be originating from Bhaktivedanta purports and what you have been hearing in Bhagavatam classes. Otherwise, that your own intuition, whatever, that could be Maya's dictation through mind, saying that, this is good enough. You are doing well in bhakti. That sort will come. And the kind of donations you give annually, that is good enough. And this is okay, that is okay. That's what our mind will say. And mind may also say, "Arey, come on, you should go to US, not for MS, but for bigger job, for more money, etc." So that's why it should match Guru, Sadhu, Shastra. That's why you should read the scriptures. And Sadhu is Prabhupada for us. So Prabhupada is himself there in the books. He's giving Bhakti on the purport. And Guru is there. You can hear his lectures also. Guru, Sadhu, Shastra. Or Guru, if you are not so much in touch, at least Guru's representative who knows properly, who is also deeply rooted in Bhaktivedanta purports, etc. So such a person could guide us. At least cross-check what comes from inside. Cross-check. Just like in management we do. Like recently when I was giving class to our new brahmacharis, So it was little practical also because I'm supposed to be in charge for them. So then I suddenly, while speaking Tulsi Maharani, then I happened to say that, evening also we could have Tulsi Aarti in our temple, because so many other ISKCON temples have evening Tulsi Aarti 6:45 to 7. So then that desire became very strong in my mind. So immediately after the class, within 1 hour, 2 hours, I sent email to Radhesham Prabhu saying that, in many ISKCON temples there is Tulsi Aarti 6:45 to 7, and many visitors will develop their bhakti bhavana by doing that, because nobody knows such kind. You can switch off that. Nobody knows devotional service of Tulsi worship like this, the way we ISKCON devotees do. But unfortunately, we do in the morning. Unfortunately for them, but they are not present there. But evening, so many hundreds of them are in temple. They will be surprised. They will do circumambulation. Many Matajis do watering the Tulsi daily, housewives. But husbands, how many husbands do? Husbands are into their own world. So then ultimately, long story, but to cut it short, so Rasham said a brilliant idea. So that should be discussed in our com next month, and then we should do the necessary thing. And it will be very nice if we could do. I said if we bhakti bhavana of these visitors increases, then more book distribution will also happen. And when the devotees show books at the bookstall, because they have done Yani Kanicha Papani, Brahma Hatyadi Kanicha. So most of the sins are gone. So they'll be very inclined for purchasing book, isn't it? So the Rajashambru liked the idea. So just like this is part of management. Now the desire came in my mind. I cannot tell all the brahmacharis under me who are young brahmachari, 30, 40. So okay, tomorrow onwards you all start, or today onwards only. Then that will be objectionable by management, isn't it? That's why apart from discussing there, I immediately send mail to Radheshambru. And Radheshambru also said COM members, they have to discuss. So that will be discussed next month, and then it may take place, isn't it? So likewise in our life also, we may, whatever comes from inside, just cross check. Like I cross, let's say Radheshambru only would have said, what kind of idea is this? It is a big management then. So then I understand maybe, and then he will tell practical reasons why this Tulsi Aarti in the evening is not a good thing to implement. It's a good thing, but implementation is difficult. He would have said that. So the my idea that came in my mind is now sanctioned on his level. Spiritually, it is perfect idea, but as far as the management and other practical details, that will be discussed in the com meeting, isn't it? So like that, we should cross check once with some devotees. Otherwise, we may be heading in the wrong direction without our knowledge. Just like I would ask you, Ajamil, he saw that scene there. So he should have just cross checked with somebody. He was in Brahmin family, his father, mother, uncle, aunt, some other Brahmanas, isn't it? That I am getting attracted to this prostitute, and I'm thinking of getting her to house. What do you say? They will say, what? You have wife, you have, this is the way, is this the way? Isn't it? They would have guided him nicely. But then infatuation was so strong, lust, that he thought of not taking guidance of anyone. He guided others. Get out of house. Wife, you get lost. Father and mother, you get out. I'm bringing her in the house. We are not infatuated to that degree, but even in our normal level of consciousness, better cross check. Better safe than sorry, isn't it? And then we have devotees around us. Yes. Hare Krishna.
Could you please guide or talk about this Avaduta Sthiti? Because in the last
I could not hear.
in the last discourse, Nityananda Prabhu's mentioned that he was in Avaduta Sthiti.
Nityanand Prabhu. Nityanand Prabhu. Avadut is very high level. We need not discuss. You may switch off that. Yes. Avadut is very high. It is beyond sannyas. Just like Babajis are there. So Babajis wear white dress only, no saffron and all that. And they all the time keep chanting and all that. Similarly, Avadut is one who is oblivious to material conditioning, material conditions around. He doesn't, it's like a bowler, it's like a mad fellow. He's mad for the Lord. So in that, he doesn't dress only. He'll be naked. So he'll travel, he'll walk naked on the street. We cannot do all this. You understand? And we have not reached that state only. We'll think of, we'll be ashamed to remove our kurta also. What will others say? We are so much carried away by prestige and how people look at me, think of me. So we are quite in these modes. Avadut is completely transcendental. Just like pure devotee is a transcendental, Avadut is pure devotee, but so transcendental, he may not wear clothes, he may not eat. Like you ask him, so what is the time? He may say, London is not such a good place for preaching. Right? Time was asked, and that's what is the pastime in Chaitanya Bhagavat, Mahaprabhu and Nityam Prabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is asking question, hey Nitai, why are you not wearing clothes? But I did not want to go there, Nityam Prabhu is saying. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saying, why are you not wearing clothes? And saying, I do not want to go there. You understand? It's like, looks like, this fellow is gone crazy. So he's crazy. Internally, he's mad for Krishna. And externally, he'll be like this, which we cannot imitate, we cannot follow. You understand? So only Nityan Prabhu we can appreciate Jai. Avadut Nityanand Prabhu ki Jai. And we have to know he's mad in Krishna consciousness. Completely intoxicated. That's why he could go to Jagai Madai. If we see a small sample of Jagai Madai, will we approach them? We'll run away from that place. But Nityam is going. And when he's told also, hey, you are a mad person, how did you approach this? Yeah, what? I am mad. Our master is mad. The Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who told us go to everyone's house. So he's ecstatic. You understand? No? Fully intoxicated in Krishna consciousness. And such a person may be oblivious to surrounding, but we cannot imitate that. So sannyas is one, if you could aspire and take or inspire others, that is okay. That is within limits. That is perfect. But then it requires a lot of internal qualification, as we discussed. Avadutta, no question. We cannot think of. In fact, Prabhupada doesn't even recommend Babaji initiation and all that. One of the disciples of Srila Prabhupada wanted Babaji initiation. Our doctor had told that after 6 months he will die, some disease in the body. So he told God brothers and all, they came to Prabhupada. And Prabhupada said, no question, we don't give Babaji initiation, maximum sannyas. But then all the devotees saying, but he will not remain after 6 months, he will die. So better he wants to chant. So then Prabhupada reluctantly gave him Babaji initiation. Only one person. It happened like that. It was like whatever circumstances. But that fellow did not die after 6 months. Maybe the wrong, what you call, judgment by the doctor, whatever. So we don't even give Babaji initiation. We don't recommend becoming Bhajananandi. Bhajananandis are who? Are pure devotees. They just sit in one place for hours and they chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And they purify the entire ether through their pure chanting of the holy name. We are what, we are not able to chant properly. What will we purify ether? And in fact, within every Bhajananandi, there is Goshtyanandi. The preacher's mood is there. That preaching should happen. And I am not qualified. So I just sit in this place and then he sends whole ether, he purifies. So that next Goshtyanandi, a preacher goes to preach, because of those holy vibrations hitting the people, their consciousness, the people will be very receptive for the Krishna consciousness, which is they will accept from this preacher. You understand? So that way it is a collaboration between the two without any kind of communication. You understand? So we don't go for Avadut and all. No question only. Who will give us Avadut Diksha? That person has to be Maha Avadut. So the concept could be understood, but it cannot be implemented. Any other? Okay, so we'll end here. Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki